Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Campbell.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? It's another wonderful Wednesday. It's hump day. So, you know how hard it is to come up with 11 good quarterbacks out of 16? It's pretty damn hard. I mean, your top 8 automatically should be anybody that was in the playoffs, in my opinion, because you're going by regular season stats. I'm not throwing in the postseason in with it. But when I was looking at it, guess who had the most attempts and the most completions in the NFL last year? And this isn't the NFC. This is the NFL. It was shocking to see that. It was actually Jared Goff. Second was Derek Carr. And why? Both of them are the only two quarterbacks to play 17 games last season. Man, if you're going to troll me, at least come up with something good. Stafford played 15 games. Geno Smith played 15 games. Taysom Hill played 16 games, but only had 11 attempts. I forgot Nathan Peterman even played 3 games last season. Jeff Driscoll even played a game last year. I tell you what, Stats Muse hates Jordan Love. You can't even find his name on the list. Ah, that's a riot. What's everybody up to this morning? So I'm going through it right now. Man, in this NFC North Division group chat, and Packers fans are so tough to even talk to. There are two guys that swear Jair Alexander is the best cornerback in all of football. At one point, he was, but until he can stay healthy and play an entire season, he never will be again. I love it, Detroit fan, man. That's great. Have the current situations for the Lions and Pistons ever been more vast? Thank Zeus for Sheila Spielman and really the whole crew. Hell, I even like the beer guy who handled the section. And yes, Detroit fan, man, I actually did watch the Chris Spielman thing, and I get what he's saying about the OTAs and the time off and stuff. So he's saying to give him that time off in April and May, and then start late June, mid July. The only thing I don't like about that is the way it's set up now. It's when these guys get their time off after OTAs, it's with their family in the middle of summer. And so, because the kids are out of school then. And I'm a big proponent of family. But truthfully, I could only come up with the top 9 in the NFC, because I think anybody below 9 is probably straight trash. And everybody's gonna hate who I think is the best regular season quarterback as of last year. I did not include any rookies. Oh, I know who I can throw in at 10. I'm gonna give it to him, and this is why I think he'll push for that starting job. So you're gonna alienate the half that have kids? I don't like it. But also, the slow and steady thing has worked for years until they cut all the workouts in half. So you're going to take away more workouts and expect them to do more in less time to get ready for a season. When the first 2 weeks of the NFL, let's face it, most teams struggle mightily, do they not? It's really like it's a five preseason games before you start to see some real football. Week 3 is when you start to see the cream rising to the top and all the bullshit starts to fall in the NFL. So I managed to come up with 10, and it's somebody that's going to push a starter that they traded for. Let's start at 10. I'm going to give it to Sam Howell. Sam Howell was put in a really bad situation in Washington, a coach that was on the way out, an offensive coordinator who was damn near non existent, and overbearing. Non existent as a coach, overbearing like a dictator. Let's put it that way. He didn't even make it through the season. Uh, Most sacked QB in the NFL last year. Hurt. That was not Fields. And Fields is no longer in the NFC, so I can't include him on the list for this year. And yes, I have a top 10 list that does not include Caleb Williams. Excuse me, I said that wrong. I had something in my throat. Caleb Williams. All right. At 9, I'm throwing Kirk Cousins in there. He has great regular season numbers. He tends to get his team in a better situation offensively than a lot of QBs in the NFL, let alone the NFC. At 8, it's the guy whose job Sam Howell is pushing for. Because I won't put a rookie until I see him play on the field. I do not put rookies in my top list. I can't. I cannot put a rookie ahead of any vet who's actually played the game. I don't see 11 good ones. And that is no offense meant to Caleb Williams. But until I see him play on the field, it's all conjecture. And I am damn sure not putting Bryce Young there. I could probably put Daniel Jones maybe, because this is probably the best team offensively as a unit without Saquon Barkley he's ever had. He's got better pass catchers than he's had in his entire time there. Fuck it. There you go, Daniel Jones. Because think about it. All that's left are the bottom. I'm not putting Sam Darnold there. And Daniel Jones does have better stats technically than Trevor Lawrence with only 2 more games. But Geno Smith. At 7, I got Jordan Love. At 6, I got Baker Mayfield. I probably should have him higher, but you know what? As a quarterback in the system he's in, I got Brock Purdy at 5. At 4, I got Matt Stafford. At 3, because I think it'll be a little more stable there, I put Jalen Hurts. At 2, I put Goff. And at 1, was the guy with the best statistics in the NFL of any QB in the NFC in the regular season. And it's kind of the same thing they had with the guy before him. It was Dak Prescott. He had more touchdowns than everybody. He had very few interceptions throughout the season. Um, Very high completion rate. He was the highest passer rating of all the guys that mattered in that stat. And yards per completion. I'm not trying to be a homer about it, but regular season, Prescott, he's in the regular season, he's like Samson. And when he gets to the playoffs, his hair gets cut and he goes right back to being straight shapoopoo. I'm not using postseason success as a barometer. I refuse to be that guy. They were trying to say QB salary caps. Well, there isn't one. There is an average of QB salaries that are conducive to good business. I wonder if the Trevor Lawrence contract stats are out. Is that I want to see what his yearly breakdowns are. So they already had him under this year for Trevor Lawrence, right? And the fifth year option for next year. Goes to 24, 35, 47, 78, 5, and 74. The potential out year is after 2028. Technically, the potential out year is 2028. I don't know where they're getting that because I see no dead cap. But the 28 million in the future, as in the not on the roster stuff. Only 4 people watching today. Where's everybody at? Oh, I forgot. I can't go live into the group, so I got to share it there to get them here. So let's go share it into a couple of groups. Maybe we'll get somebody to join in. Oh, I haven't seen Yoli. Haven't seen. I like it when we get some of our opposing fan bases in here. It's a holiday. People are peopling. Yeah, I know. It's Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to anybody who celebrates it. Hallelujah. It is a holiday, and it deserves to be celebrated. Hmm. I'm just not used to having this few people on. It's weird. Normally, I have 10, 15 by this time, even without being in there. 2 more days, and I get to go live into my page again. That'll help. I just don't believe in putting a rookie ahead of any vets, and that's why it was so easy for me to do my tight end list and my uh, wide receiver list. But quarterbacks, there's so few of them that play on each team. There's only one guy. You 9 times out of 10. Yeah. It's just weird. Right. It may. You never know. It really depends on how well our guys tackle in the NFL compared to XFL. Okay. Do you think Fox assumes kickoffs? I've been pushing the tackling kicker thing. Consensus now is it likely doesn't even matter as Fox has got it. I don't think it. I think it will matter on the rare occasion that somebody breaks free. I don't think there's going to be as many guys breaking free past the 40-yard line as some people think. I think the average kickoff start is going to change to around the 33-yard line. I think there's some teams that are going to be like, fuck it, we're just not going to let them return it and start them at the 35, which anything past the 25 was the old goal. Now the 25 doesn't even matter anymore. There is no more fair catch. There is no more you either kick it through the back of the end zone and give it to them at 35, or you try to land it at the 1 and pray to God they don't catch it and let it hit and bounce through to penalize them. And to me, that's why we kind of signed another boomer guy. We know Jack Fox can kick it out the back of the end zone with the best of them. I think what it was that they said 2 years ago, he was one of the highest in the NFL with over 80% touchbacks because he did boot it through the back of the end zone. But yes, I think tackling kickers are going to matter to an extent because there are going to be guys that are fast enough or shifty enough to get free, and they'll have to tackle then. But I don't think it's going to be as much as everybody else does. I just don't see it because they tackle so much better in the NFL. Is my point. Oh, I gotta grab my pop. I left it sitting on the end table. Just 1 second, gentlemen. I'm glad the living room's only 10 steps away. Mother's milk. So now we are in the dead zone of NFL news. The news that breaks now are either going to be extensions. Oh yeah, they do have the. I do agree with that. I guess I'm just attracted to the chaos of the unknown, likely a character flaw. But special teams have the potential to be truly special this year. Yes, because what they're trying to do is make it so teams actually let teams return kicks. I'm all for it. I'm glad we're not seeing the wedge. Good afternoon, Smoking Dad. But special teams it's going to be nice to be able to have the next Mel Far. I don't think there'll ever be another Devin Hester, but could be wrong. A Chris McAllister. Uh, hell, Terry Fair was a way better returner than he was a cornerback. We have the potential. Mel Gray was another great returner in Lions history. Bernard Powell was good for a minute. who was the other guy that was good that ended up being a stretch the field guy, then got fired for smacking his girlfriend, I think. Oh, Marvin Hall, um, James Agnew. The only time that a certain running back could hold the ball was when returning punts or kicks, which made no sense, which was where all the big hits happened while he played. Amir Abdullah. Uh, Craig Reynolds is decent. Khalif Raymond had a year so good he made it to the Pro Bowl and as an All Pro that year, the only All Pro that year. Williams' potential to return kicks is something that I'm quite sure Dave Bipp is begging about. What he did at Alabama, and that's with them running that single wedge, not the big triple wedge like they used to run. I see some people joining in again. So, yes, yesterday, a guy the Lions had, but he couldn't stay healthy in the preseason and got waived a year or two ago, is back out, waived again. Denzel Mims from the Jets to the Lions to the Steelers and back to the free agency pool. Talk about failed potential. I was really hoping he'd have been good. It's kind of like Rashad Perriman. I hoped he would be good when he came here because of his father and that speed. Mm-mm-mm. I really miss football right now. It's yes, sir. We will see you then. That's right. Tonight is the NFL Roundtable Talks at 9 p.m. It is the AFC West and NFC West are the teams we will be talking about. In the AFC, you got, of course, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Raiders. And then in the NFC West, you got the 49ers, the Sea Chickens, the Rams, the Cardinals. I said that on purpose just in case if our friend Megan Grillcrocker, who will be a part of the show tonight, our Aussie Seahawks fan, she will be in attendance. I totally get it. Missing football. I watch a CFL game, but it felt like kissing my cousin. Oh, that's great. I watch a lot of those NFL replays. Um, there's only certain ones of those player documentaries they do that I can watch because normally they're not doing them about players that you know that I like. And there's a lot more to like in a player than just what's on the field. It's what they are as a person. And there's certain guys that were just total jerks, and I don't want to see any of it. Scott Mitchell. But if I hear he's going to be on something, I don't watch it. If I hear that man's name's mentioned as a guest or something like that, my interest goes. It's just over. All right, got a few more viewers. Hey, 5 on each. We got 5 on Twitter, none on YouTube. Nobody watches none on Facebook. 5 on Twitter, 5 on YouTube, none on Facebook. This not being able to go live into my profile, into my page, kind of sucks because that's where all the Lions fans are. Wow, imagine that. Guess what Marshawn Lloyd was known as in college? The Fumble King. Well, I'm glad the Lions didn't pick him. I like it when I got a panel because then I don't have the only one giving an opinion. It's nice to debate stuff. I like to hear people say, "Oh, you're stupid," or "Oh, you're right," or whatever, whether they agree or not. Mr. Leonard is out there busting his hump as always. And I'm good with that. We should see him tonight. But if anyone wants to be a fan, my email smoking Jeremy B at gmail.com. If you ever want to be on one of these shows as a fan that we do in the nighttime, like on Friday night, or if you know somebody that would love to be on a show representing their team on a on Wednesday nights for the NFL Roundtable Talk, more than happy. The Lions Fan Cave chat, I've got some new guys coming in now, and they enjoy it. They're not new to podcasting, but they're new to being on my show, and I like them being there. I like their opinions. Do we as fans put too much stock in the OTAs sometimes? Absolutely. Because we're craving the game. We want to see it played. Oh, God. College football for watching my favorite team is going to be hard this year because I don't think they're going to be as good. I think we're going to see some struggling out there. I think it's a 9-win season tops for the Michigan Wolverines. And I'm not even trying to be a jerk about it. had someone diss me because what is the UFL for? You guys remember what they said it was for? It wasn't just to give us football in the months where we normally don't have football. It was a second chance for these guys to make it in the NFL or the CFL or whatever. So last night, the Giants signed the number one rusher, Jalen Sayers, out of the UFL. He was the league leader in rushing. And granted, he only played 10 games, but he had over 1,000 yards. That's impressive. I granted it's 8 teams, and I know it's a watered down league, blah, blah, blah. Big stats like that are impressive because they have less games to do it in. So kudos to them to getting somebody that might be a good RB3 or 4 on their roster. In other reports, one of my favorite UDFAs from last year, he's not going to be playing. The Underwear Fighting League, well, that's just for a good time. Oh, yes, that's right, man. Um, but as an RB3, RB4 and depth on a team when you just lost Saquon Barkley, it might work out that he gets more snaps than we think if he does well in the preseason. I would rather them sign those guys right now to get them into training camps in the next couple of weeks. Dwayne Keene, welcome in, good sir. Good to see you. In other news, the Pistons fired Monty Williams today. Let's go Detroit Lions, one pride. Yes, sir. I am so ready for the season to start. I'm so ready for news to come out again on a daily basis so I have more to talk about. It, it makes it rough. That's all I got to say. I know Stephen A. Smith was out there with how happy Monty was to be let go, but honestly, with 65 million still owed, who wouldn't be at least kind of happy? Kind of happy. Our roster, outside of a couple of players, is absolute dog shit for the Pistons. He doesn't have to rework it with a new GM. And Dwayne King lets bite night kneecaps all year on every team. Amen. And I love the fact that Dan Campbell addressed the fact that they're going to have a target on their back after last season, as they should. But he has targets too. He's got some games circled this year, two in particular. One is week 6, Cowboys. Week 17, 49ers. That was the two off the top of his head. You know, we got jobbed in Dallas again. I mean, that every time the Lions have had a chance to win since 2014 in Dallas, there has been something that derailed it. Ooh, for some. Now that all the cap is adjusted from the void of Sutton's contract, they even voided his void year. Salary cap for next season went up by $8 million without having to do anything, boys. Let's go. Let's frickin' go. I think that's a big one there. Looking for if they added a certain one. Nope, his contract is not added yet. Hmm. So Jake Bates' contract has not been added in there yet. It is what it is. And the details are not on yet. So because we signed Jake Bates to that 2-year deal, he is a 3-year exclusive restricted free agent when in 2026. So in other words, the Lions literally have to waive him before he hits free agency. Hmm. Jake Bates is still getting $100,000 from the Texans this year as a void year. That's cute. Maybe that's why it was that cheap. Amen. It is always better to be late than never. I hate when a new GM comes in and they clean house prior to seeing one game being talked about or anything when they had a garbage roster they inherited. Statistically, there are barometers that I'm going to look at where certain players improved that people were talking trash about. Look at Cade Cunningham. Even though he still had a bad year, he actually improved his points per game, improved the assists per game, improved his 3-point percentage, and decreased his turnovers per game by almost one. which that don't sound like a lot, but if you play 60 games and you're giving up one less turnover per game, isn't that 60 less turnovers per season? Food for thought. Beef Stew, who developed a 3-point shot just before the season his sophomore year, which he shot in abysmal. JB, did you cover the BSPN article? I can't stand them. No, I did not. I haven't read it at all. I but Beef Stew, when he first started doing his shooting at the 3-point line, it was 28% the first year, 33% the second year. He had a 5% increase this year. Uh, um, Way better 3-point percentage than he's had. Jalen Duran is Jaden Duran. If he could stay healthy, he might be a decent piece, but he's not a starter. Ivy, on the other hand, is a rising star. He's probably the best pick that Weaver made. Killian Hayes over Halliburton. Um, Cade, I'd have picked him that year too. I'm sorry, I'd have taken Cade Cunningham. But just like any other thing, how good do you think Philadelphia would be or will be? My jury's still out. I mean, I put off of what he did his Super Bowl year and the potential of what this year could be, I had to put Hurts in my top 4. Will be. I think they're going to win the division because I think Dallas falters more. I think the surprise team out of that division might be the Commanders. I I got Dallas at 10 wins. I think the Eagles have the potential to win 11-12. Uh, their outside of the division is tougher than inside their division because they got 2 teams that they normally beat up on all the time. But at the same time, teams in that division don't beat up on each other like they used to. They play each other tough. They're close games. There used to be these big one-sided blowouts, and you don't see that anymore. It's hard to pick a team in that division. I don't like any of them. LOL. Oh, I hear you. And yes, FYF Fridays are going to still go as planned. Um, Fridays are our Homer days, where if you want to say as Homerish stuff as you want, I'm good with it. We're gonna go that route. I'm gonna look up throughout the week, and I'm gonna find a top 10 memes of the week in the NFC North groups because, and I don't even care if they're against us. You know what it is? It's a your feelings Friday. That's what it is. I'm gonna go back to that format, and we're gonna make it a fun show because you know what? Why does everything have to be so hard? Why do we have to struggle to have something to talk about? We could sit here and talk about cooking if we wanted and stuff like that. I made this amazing steak last night. It was It was just a flank steak, but it was how I cooked it. I used a whole stick of butter instead of oil or any of that crap. Real salted 100% butter. But, I picked up a new seasoning I wanted to try, and it has pretty good ingredients, actually. Ground dill seed, salt, peppercorns. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've said this. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are building a machine. We just have to stay healthy. But the first 2 teams that week 6 and week 17 are the first 2 targets in this revenge. And then I think the other one, and nobody's really talking about it, it's Seattle. At week 4, will they be running at full tilt? We don't know. Don't forget to tune in tonight at 9 p.m. when we start talking about the AFC West and the NFC West, windows of wins for each team. Yes, on all 3, JB. Will we see the same Spags type of defense there? Do you do FTP? Every day we do FTP. 100%. It's fornicate the Packers on Roku. Got to be politically correct, you know. It's coming up shortly. Got to do it. Matter of fact, let's start it now. Put it in the chat, y'all. It's our favorite sponsor. It doesn't even have to pay us a dime, and we love it. FTP. Let it ring out loud and clear. And of course, you know, unless you're looking at this thing that's being solicited outside of Green Bay. Yuck. Ugh. FTP. Yes, people, please hit the thumbs up button, whether you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That is an it gets the cycle going for the algorithm for all those social media platforms. And I'm not saying I want to be paid, but it would be nice. 100% it would be nice. Time to take out a few of these old pictures I don't use anymore. This has been a passion of mine. I love the fact I'm not paid, but at the same time, if someone wanted to help out, I'll accept it. Because you know what? It isn't cheap. I love doing this stuff, but everything costs money these days. The internet for me to be able to provide this talk to you guys, the streaming service I use that you guys get to chat upon where I can interact with you the way I do. All of it costs money. We pay it out of pocket. Why? Because this is a passion. Would it be nice to be paid and just paid? Not necessarily. If we could break even, the break even point. If you look at it, the break even point's about $130 a month. I'm not asking a lot, but if it was $130 a month, guess what? I don't have to pay for the streaming service. I don't have to pay for cable internet. all that stuff is covered. Last but not least, because I did lose a sponsor, he didn't keep up with his payment plan, so I won't talk about him. I don't badmouth people. I understand when business gets slow. And I know that the first year that someone's in business is always, especially once you get into your own building instead of renting a spot, that's your hardest year is the first year for any business. Same with podcasting. A lot of podcasters hit a wall at the end of their first year and they just quit. They don't keep going. Me, I'm going to find another sponsor. It's what I always do. Such as the place where I work. Brandon Service, right at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road in Flint, Michigan. Used tires starting at $40 and up. New tires, if you need them, please call 810-233-8230. Get your quote from George, Red, or myself. If you buy a set of tires and mention the fact you've seen the ad on my show, you get $10 off your set of tires, whether new or used. We had to put a cutoff point. I wanted to do a percentage and they weren't for it. They said, nah, just do 10. I'm like, okay. It's 100% a passion doing this, though. I love doing it. I used to keep it to where I only did like 3 shows a week in the off season. I kind of wish I still did, but you know what? I like doing this during the day. It's kind of fun. It starts my day off. It gets me going and ready for work. Speaking of which, my time here is out. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and tune in tomorrow as we go over the best offensive lines in the NFC.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.